Welcome back to the Business Book Club. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a book that has genuinely reshaped how many, myself included, think about building a startup. It's Running Lean, Iterate from Plan A to a Plan That Works by Ash Maurya.
Yeah, it's a really practical guide, not just theory. You see it recommended everywhere. Founders, investors. It's kind of essential reading.
Absolutely. And our mission today is basically to pull out the core themes, the key concepts, and really give you a solid understanding of this whole iterative approach to building a business. Think of it as a shortcut to getting well informed. So let's start by unpacking what Maurya calls this new entrepreneurial landscape. He argues, and I think it's pretty clear, we're living in an age of just unparalleled opportunity for innovation.
Totally. Things like cloud computing, open source software.
Yeah.
The cost of actually building something has just plummeted. It's never been cheaper.
It really hasn't. But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets really interesting. The odds of actually building a successful startup, they haven't improved much at all.
Yeah, that's the paradox. It's easier to start, but not necessarily easier to succeed. Most startups still fail.
Exactly. And here's a stat from the book that just floors me. Of the startups that do manage to succeed, something like 2/3 report drastically changing their initial plans along the way. 2/3.
Which really highlights Maurya's point about the core shift. He talks about how in the past you needed huge capital, factories, distribution, all that.
Right. Massive investment up front.
But today, anyone with a credit card can pretty much rent the means of production. Cloud servers, online tools, it's all accessible.
So the whole game has changed.
Fundamentally.
Yeah.
And that means the key question for entrepreneurs isn't just, can we build this? Because honestly, you probably can. The real question is, should we build this?
Should it be built? That really reframes the whole thing. Every startup is basically an experiment.
Exactly. An experiment in finding a viable business model.
Okay, so if it's an experiment and most initial plans, well, they don't work out, how does Maurya suggest we even start, like defining that initial vision? It makes you wonder about traditional business plans. Are they just pointless?
Well, it definitely raises that question about efficiency. Maurya has this clear definition of waste. Anything that uses up resources, time, money, effort, but doesn't create actual value for the customer or the business, that's waste.
And a 60-page business plan full of guesses sounds like a prime example.
Precisely. Spending weeks, maybe months, writing this huge document based mostly on untested hypotheses.
Yeah.
It's just classic waste in his view. So instead, he pushes for something much more, well, agile.
Which is the lean canvas, right?
Exactly, the lean canvas. Think of it like a tactical map, a blueprint for your product, but all on a single page.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's got those blocks. Problem, solution.
Right. Problem, solution, unique value proposition, like what makes you different and worth buying. Customer segments, channels to reach them, revenue streams, costs, key metrics. It forces you to get your core assumptions down in one place.
And the key thing is it's not set in stone.
Not at all. It's designed to be dynamic.
Yeah.
It basically accepts up front that your initial ideas are just guesses, untested assumptions that you need to go out and test systematically.
Right.
Then you refine it based on what you learn.
So it's like that chef analogy you used earlier. You wouldn't rate a massive cookbook before you even know if the main dish tastes good. The lean canvas is that first concise recipe sketch.
That's a great way to put it. Get that core recipe down, then test it quickly. Okay, so once you have that initial plan A on your canvas, the next crucial step is figuring out where the biggest dangers lie.
Right, because you can't test everything at once. Where do you focus your energy first? How do you prioritize?
Well, if you step back, the entrepreneur's real job, according to Maurya, is basically systematic risk mitigation.
Okay, managing risk. Makes sense.
And he argues that for most startups today, the biggest risk isn't usually the technical side, unless you're, trying to cure cancer or build a warp drive.
Yeah, you can probably build the tech.
You can probably build it. The much, much bigger danger is building something nobody wants. That's the silent killer for so many startups.
So how do you tackle that risk?
Maurya breaks down the startup journey into 3 distinct stages. Knowing which stage you're in is critical because it tells you what risk to focus on.
Okay, what are the stages?
Stage 1 is problem-solution fit. The key question here is simple. Do I have a problem worth solving?
Worth solving, meaning people actually care.
Exactly. Is it a must-have for customers? Is it viable? Like, will they actually pay you to solve it? And is it feasible? Can you realistically solve it? This stage is all about qualitative learning, talking to potential customers, observing them.
Getting out of the building.
Absolutely. And this is also where you define your minimum viable product, or MVP. The smallest thing you can build to start learning if your solution actually helps.
Got it. Confirm the need first. What's stage 2?
Once you've got evidence of a problem worth solving and you have an MVP, you move to stage 2, product market fit. Now the question becomes, have I built something people want?
So does the solution actually work for them? Does it resonate?
Precisely. Are people using it? Are they sticking with it? Are you finding a repeatable way to acquire and keep customers? Nailing product market fit is really the first major milestone for any startup.
And after that, is it just smooth sailing?
Huh? Well, not exactly smooth sailing, but the focus shifts. That's stage 3, scale. Once you know you've built something people want, the question becomes, how do I accelerate growth? How do you reach a much bigger audience efficiently?
Okay, those 3 stages provide a really clear framework. Problem, solution fit, product market fit, then scale. And you mentioned Moria distinguishes between pivots and optimizations too.
Yeah, that's a really important distinction he makes. They sound similar, but they're very different. A pivot happens before product market fit. It's when you fundamentally change one of the core hypotheses on your lean canvas because your testing showed it was wrong. The goal of a pivot is validated learning, finding a plan that works.
So a big course correction based on evidence.
Exactly. Whereas optimizations happen after product market fit. You found a plan that works, and now you're just tweaking things to accelerate growth. The goal is efficiency and scaling what's already validated.
Got it. Pivot to learn, optimize to grow. That makes sense. And how does he suggest prioritizing risks on the canvas itself?
He groups risks into 3 main buckets. Product risk, can we build it, will it work? Customer risk, can we reach customers, will they adopt it? And market risk, can we build a viable business, pricing, competition?
Okay.
And you prioritize based on what's most likely to kill your startup now. Often that means starting with a customer pain level. Is it a burning need? Then ease of reach, can you actually get to these customers? Then things like price sensitivity, market size, maybe technical feasibility depending on the idea.
So tackle the biggest unknowns first.
Right. And here's a neat tip he offers. Consider talking to some visionary advisors before you even do tons of customer interviews. People who really understand the space. They might help you spot flaws in your model or refine it much faster than just interviewing potential users initially.
That's interesting. Get some expert feedback early to avoid chasing dead ends. Okay, so we've got the plan A on the lean canvas. We've identified the riskiest parts. Now, for the crucial bit, how do you actually test it all systematically?
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road. He lays out a 4-stage process for systematic testing, which really mirrors the whole running lean approach.
Okay, walk us through it.
Stage 1, understand the problem. This is all about customer interviews, deep qualitative interviews, not just surveys. You need to get out there and understand, is this problem real? Who has it? How intense is the pain? How are they solving it now, if at all?
And you're looking for those aha moments, right? The things you didn't even know you didn't know.
Exactly. You're exploring. You want genuine pain points, not just people being polite and saying your idea sounds nice. You need empathy, real discovery.
Okay, so deep problem understanding first. Then what?
Stage 2, define the solution. Based on that deep understanding, you create a demo. And importantly, a demo doesn't have to be working code. It could be mock-ups, wireframes, a presentation, even a video showing how it would work.
Just enough to make the solution concrete for people.
Precisely. You use this demo to test. Does this solution concept resonate? Does it seem like it would actually solve their problem? Who are the people getting most excited? Those are your potential early adopters. And crucially, you test your pricing here.
Pricing comes in early.
Super early. Moria is adamant. If you plan to charge from day one, or at least test the willingness to pay. Price isn't an afterthought, it's part of the product. It defines who your customer is and signals the value. He even talks about pricing, creating scarcity or exclusivity like a limited beta to gauge real commitment.
Makes sense. If they won't even commit early, maybe the value isn't there. Okay, so you've defined a potential solution and tested the concept. Stage 3.
Stage 3, validate qualitatively. Now you actually build your minimum viable product, that smallest possible version, and you get it into the hands of those early adopters you identified.
The ones who were really excited about the demo.
Right. And now you're asking, does this MVP actually deliver on the core promise, the unique value proposition? Are people using it? And critically, are they paying for it if that's your model? This is about getting a strong signal, positive or negative, from a small group. Deep learning, not big numbers yet.
So qualitative proof it works for someone, and then the final stage must be scaling that validation.
Exactly. Stage 4, verify quantitatively. Now you take your refined product, the one that got positive qualitative signals, and you launch it more broadly. You're trying to answer, Have we really built something people want at scale? And how do we reach them efficiently?
And this is where the metrics come in heavily.
Yes, actionable metrics, not vanity metrics. Things like Dave McClure's Pirate Metrics, ARR, acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, referral, tracking how users move through that funnel. And cohort analysis is key here too.
Cohort analysis. That's tracking groups of users over time, right?
Yeah, grouping users by when they signed up, for example.
Mhm.
Then you can see if changes you make actually improve retention or conversion for new users compared to older groups. It helps you see real trends and identify what's working or not working in your product or marketing over time.
That whole four-stage process, understand, define, validate, verify, seems incredibly logical. And the amazing part is, Maurya actually used this exact process to write the book itself.
It's brilliant, isn't it? A perfect meta example. For stage one, understand problem. He started his blog basically thinking out loud about lean startup ideas he was grappling with. Readers started saying, hey, you should write a book.
So the problem sort of found him.
Kind of. But he didn't just start writing. He called those readers. He asked why they wanted a book, what was missing from other resources. He learned they struggled with the application, the practical steps. They saw his blog as a guide. That defined his problem and his target audience, technical founders like him.
Smart. He validated the need and the angle. So for stage two, define solution, how did he demo a book?
He made a simple landing page, put up a draft table of contents, even a stock photo for the cover. He figured the riskiest part wasn't his writing, but getting the structure right, the TOC.
The core offering.
Exactly. So he called those same readers again, showed them the TOC, asked if I wrote this book, would you buy it? He used their feedback to refine the TOC until it really hit the mark. Then he collected about 1,000 email signups from the landing page. That was his signal. It was a problem worth solving at scale.
That's incredibly lean. Testing the structure before writing chapters. Okay, so stage three, validate qualitatively. How do you do an MVP for a whole book?
That's his genius. Writing the whole book felt too big, too risky.
Yeah.
So his MVP was a slide deck based on the validated table of contents.
A workshop.
Yes, he ran free workshops in Austin using the slides, got instant feedback. Then, crucially, he started charging for the workshops. First validation, people paid. He kept tweaking the slides based on feedback, even testing pricing by doubling it until he hit resistance. Then, instead of vanishing to write the book, he offered pre-orders where people got early access. 2 chapters every 2 weeks, delivered as PDFs. This gave him continuous feedback, led to rewrites, and really identified his super committed early adopters.
That's amazing iterative development applied to content. So finally, stage 4, verify quantitatively.
Only after the content was essentially complete and validated through this whole process did he invest in the expensive stuff. Professional cover design, testing subtitles, researching print options, and the ultimate validation. A major publisher contacted him wanting to publish the book pretty much as is.
That just perfectly illustrates the entire running lean cycle and shows how powerful that qualitative learning is early on.
Absolutely. Sometimes it tells you much more than quantitative data can, especially at the start.
Okay, so let's bring this home for everyone listening. What does this all mean for your entrepreneurial journey? If you're building something, what are the key takeaways you can start using today?
Well, the first huge milestone, as we've said, is hitting product market fit. Before you get there, your entire focus should be on learning, iterating, testing those assumptions, and being ready to pivot.
Everything is about finding that fit first.
Right. After you hit product market fit, then your focus shifts to growth and optimization. And a good gut check for product market fit is the Sean Ellis test. You ask your users, how would you feel if you could no longer use this product?
And you're looking for.
If around 40% or more say, very disappointed, that's a strong sign you might have it. But Maurya really stresses that retention is the ultimate validation.
People sticking around.
Exactly. Are you keeping around 40% of your activated users coming back month after month? That shows you've built something truly valuable. Revenue matters, but retention proves indispensable value.
Okay, so you've hit product market fit, you've got retention. How do you grow sustainably?
That's where identifying your primary engine of growth comes in. Eric Reyes defined 3 main ones. The sticky engine, where your product is so good or essential that users just stick around with very high retention. Think Evernote, maybe? The viral engine, where users bring in other users, hopefully with a viral coefficient greater than 1, meaning each user brings in more than 1 new user. Think early Facebook or Dropbox referrals.
Okay.
And the paid engine, where you can profitably acquire customers through advertising or sales because your customer lifetime value is significantly higher, say 3x higher than your cost to acquire them. You need to figure out which one is your primary engine and really focus your efforts there.
Focus is key. And what about adding new features? It's so tempting to just keep building more stuff.
That's a huge trap. Maurya warns against diluting your unique value proposition by just piling on features. He suggests an 80-20 rule for your time after launch.
80-20, how does that break down?
80% of your effort should go into optimizing what you already have, improving existing features, streamlining the user journey, tuning your growth engine. Only 20% should go towards building brand new features.
And even then, those new features need validation.
Absolutely. A feature isn't really done just because the code is shipped. It's done when it delivers validated learning. When you can prove, through metrics, that it actually improves something for your users or your business. If not, maybe it was worth building or needs rethinking.
That's a tough discipline, but makes so much sense. Focus on core value.
Yeah. And maybe one final thought to leave people with, something quite personal from Maurya himself. He talks about a product he built called Cloudfire. Technically strong, found some interested customers, parents, photographers, but he realized something profound. He wasn't actually passionate about their problems. He was passionate about the technology, the solution he'd built. That disconnect ultimately led him to sell the company. And his lesson from that is powerful. Startups can consume years of your life, he says, so pick a problem worth solving. It really makes you ask yourself, doesn't it? How deeply connected are you to the actual problem you're trying to solve for your customers? Is it their pain you care about or just your cool idea?
That's a really critical question. A fantastic place to reflect as we wrap up. We really hope this deep dive into Ash Maurya's Running Lean has given you some invaluable insights, some actionable strategies for whatever you're building. Remember, that journey from plan A to a plan that works. It's all about continuous experimentation, continuous learning.
Keep asking, should it be built?
Yeah.
Stay close to your customers. Focus on solving real problems.
Couldn't agree more. If you found this deep dive valuable, please do subscribe to the Business Book Club. We bring you expert insights into the world's most influential business books regularly. Until next time, keep learning, keep iterating, and keep building.
Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.